This is episode number 372 of the Health and Fitness Show. This is the InnerFight podcast. We are the number one health and fitness show in the region. Andre, good morning.
Good morning.
You thought I was going to ask you a really profound question then, didn't you? Mate, big shout out to our show sponsor. Should continue to thank them, even though our introduction has changed. Smith Street Paleo.
Yeah, and remember, if you subscribe and review and everything, you get loads of free stuff.
I'd just be like, I wouldn't really, but maybe I'd just set up loads of fake email accounts and then just keep on reviewing.
If you remember in the gym, you might as well. You buy the balls every day.
No, we didn't say that. We don't think you should do that. Folks, welcome back to the show. Thanks for all of your support of the show. Some really cool feedback coming through. We really, really do appreciate it when you write to us and tell us that you hated a show. I think that's really you. It's not always that you hate it. But sometimes people actually write and say, I got a message the other day that someone wasn't too happy with something we said on the show. They corrected us, and that's good as well.
That's fair enough.
That's very good feedback. If we do say something you don't agree with, just let us know. We don't know everything. We're trying to put together a show that is informative, a little bit motivational, and basically entertains us and you for 40 minutes a week. Also, don't forget our 3-minute shows. They go out on a Sunday. They're 3 minutes. We try to be punchy. We have a nice little competition between the two of us to land it exactly on 3 minutes. And we've just actually recorded 2 or 3, and we managed.
Short and snappy shows.
Short and snappy shows. Stuff that you don't have to think too much about. You need to download those on a Sunday. That's your Sunday motivation. This is your Thursday show. Let's have a quick roundup of what's happening in and around the gym, mate.
We have had so many changes lately, especially inside the gym, decor-wise. New painted walls, black. That
black.
Was a lot of people were very surprised by that. So maybe you can explain what the whole thought behind that was.
Yeah, I think we should be really straightforward and really transparent about what happened here. Basically, one of my clients runs a company called Lima Designs.
Yep.
Lima Designs is a UAE-based company. They've been here for around 8 years, and their expertise, their business is focusing on customer experiences.
Okay.
So they look at the customer experience from A to Z. So when you first contact the facility, as in our case, if you contact us through Facebook, if you contact us through the phone, if you contact us through email, or if you came in, like any which way, they look at it. They get someone to do that. So they basically secret shop does. I didn't even know about it.
So they send in people.
So they send
before
in people,
your first meeting.
before you're moving with them, they sent these people in. I think it's a bit different for us. I think you probably have to give them the approval to do that. But because it was a client, I was like, just do your stuff and then come to me with a report. So they cracked on. So they're examining it from A to Z. So you've got past that first moment when the people are contacting you. Then they're like, right, you're in the gym. What does it feel like?
Yeah.
And they pick up on everything. Like, we all know that we're all super different. Some of us react well to being shouted at. Some of us react well to being spoken to softly.
Yep.
Some of us like to wear blue. Some of us like to wear black. These guys use their experience. They've done customer experiences for sort of high-end brands, shopping malls, all sorts of different businesses. So they use their broad experience, and they bring it in, and they say, you might want to think about that. And they're like, they hit me. They're like, when you come in, it's not really very welcoming. And they're like, one of our secret shoppers went and nearly got a kettlebell in the face. And I was like, well, that's kind of not really what I want. And so they start to break it down, and then they say, you've done some, and they're very positive as well, mate.
Okay.
They take the things that you've done very well, and they highlight them. And that was one thing. They're like, well, you've got images of people around your railings at the top. That looks really nice. But why have you stopped? Why haven't you put it all the way around?
Yeah.
And they go through all these different things, and they have a chat, and they try and understand a bit more. And so we sat down and had a brainstorming for about 2 hours. And then they come back into the gym, and then they go through what modifications you can make. So they'll come back into your business, and they'll say, right, this is what you could do. So then they do a load of renders for you. And it's like, I don't know, it's like the worst interior design temptation exercise in the planet, because you literally look at it, it looks super good in all these renders, and you're like, I want to do everything. And then you're like, but that will cost me X, Y, and Z, which was quite a lot of money. But it's sort of, when you see it, and then you start to make these changes, and you see the reaction of people. I think that was one of the best things. Like when I saw clients coming in, and they were just like, there was more of a wow factor and more of a welcoming factor. Yeah. So everything that Lima told us to do, I don't think, like, the only thing that was in on a knife edge was what you said, which was like, oh my God, we're now painting the walls black.
Yep.
Like, we'd thought about that at the start, and I went for this grey because I was like, it's bright, but it's like dark, it's not white, so it's not going to look dirty. And these guys just said, nah, paint your walls black. I was just like, wow.
It makes the gym look so much more intense, but I guess also the brand is intense, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I said to them. I said, do you not think it makes it a little bit more intense? And they said, yeah, but the grey, and this is one of the things, this is why a professional firm like this is worth utilizing. They're like, the grey just kind of dies out, so your room doesn't have an end to it. He said, when you put a black wall in place, you know where the end is.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. It is, and it stands out, which does make it a little bit more aggressive, but it doesn't, it's not just like a dark grey hole down there.
No.
So we did that. We painted the walls black, and we changed all of the whiteboards.
Yeah.
The guys that we use from a company called POS Media, who I've worked with for a number of years. I worked with them back when I was at Adidas. They actually built all the new whiteboards. They do all the branding for us.
Okay.
So they're a super, super good company.
Talk to us about the new whiteboard that is the size of the Eiffel Tower inside the gym.
It's pretty big. I just wanted more workouts up there. No, they just said, Lima just said that your current whiteboards are making your walls a lot smaller.
Yeah.
If you make it from floor to ceiling, it's going to make the whole thing look bigger. And it's true. It makes the whole thing look bigger. So, and also the experience, and what we've been focused on since the start is we have been focused on our customer experience, and like, we want people to come, we want them to feel comfortable, we want them to stay here, we want it to be a nice environment. So they just tweaked a lot of things, like even the reception desk, how that all works.
Looks sick now.
Yeah, having a door there, you know, it just creates this sort of formal but informal barrier of this is the reception. So yeah, they've been super awesome. And I mean, I don't know, mate. I've heard a little bit of negative feedback, but most of it's been
can't make everyone happy, right? I think the coolest add-on is the new poster.
Yeah.
As soon as you enter the gym, you'll see a poster that's like 4 meters tall, 2 meters wide, huge, with the values of the company.
Yeah.
And I remember you told me once you had like a business talk with some company, and they couldn't even tell you what their values were.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important, or you explain the importance of, you know, when you enter a business, everyone in the whole company needs to know exactly what the values of the brand are. You know, what does this company stand for, and more importantly, it's important that your customers knows that too, because that's what's going to make them loyal to the brand and to become a part of the family. Or
it's quite easy for us as a coach, I think, isn't it? You know, when someone's like rolling around on the floor, this is really hard. It's like, it says it up there.
Yeah.
You read it the minute you came in, and I know that might sound a little bit aggressive, but it sort of says it. And that's why we want to share as well, like, you know, simplicity is one of our brand values, and we want to share that. Like, what we're doing is quite simple, but because we're doing those simple things over and over again, that's how we get results. So yeah, that was a big thing as well, and that was actually a modification of one of the boards that we had downstairs by the ski ergs before,
by the endless grey wall,
and they just turned around and said, what's really important is those 6 words. So why have you got all this other text on that? No one's going to read it if it's too lost. And so these guys know a lot about branding. Yeah. So that's really an update of why we did the changes. I just wanted to make the customer experience, our client experience, so much better.
Are we going to see more coming?
I need to get more members to pay for more. No, I think at the moment we're kind of done. Everything that Lima did, we've done.
Yep.
We're just waiting on some benches for the outdoor area, just so that people can just sit and relax there a little bit, especially now the weather's cooling down.
Yep.
And that's really what they've said at the moment. And they said you let it roll for like 6 to 8 months, and then we'll come back in and we'll do a little bit more.
Cool.
So yeah, but at the moment, I think we kind of spent enough money, made enough changes, and the cool thing is everyone's super responsive and super positive on the whole about them. Yeah. So that's good, mate. Another update: mobility program has kicked off. You're now teaching a mobility class. Run us through that a little bit.
So I tested out the mobility class. It's going to be a sort of group PT for 6 people.
Okay.
There's maximum spot for 6 people. It's going to run every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. for the cardio club class, and it's going to be starting 1st of January.
Okay.
So it's going to be a whole new package deal. So the normal mobility program package is that you get an individualized program, you get weekly feedback, you get 2 assessments, one in the beginning of the month, one in the end of the month.
Right.
And now this new package includes a weekly session where you're going to be with a maximum of 5 other people, and where I'm going to take you through a generalized mobility programming session where I really get to, do some hands-on work, make sure you're performing everything to a T.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Have you found, because obviously, as you say, you get on the mobility program as it runs at the moment, you get an initial assessment, then you send people a program which has some very well descripted exercises, YouTube videos. But do you find the execution of those exercises varies a little bit? And
yes,
maybe some people are not feeling it in the right way, so the program is not as effective as it could be because of that?
Yeah, and that's essentially why the whole class idea came up, because I kept getting messages from everyone like, oh hey, I'm not really sure if I'm doing this right, or I would see people in the gym doing it, and I'm like, which exercise are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm doing this exercise. No,
you're not.
Yeah. And so I guess that's one of the flaws of the program. Yeah. There's pictures now, so there's pictures and videos and explanation and goal for each exercise in the program.
Right.
So there's only space for a little bit of doubt, I guess.
You reduce the margin for
but so from the new year, it's going to run the class. It's going to be a bit more expensive because you obviously get 4 more hours of my time. So you'll have now 6 full hours.
Wow.
In that 1 month. But it's definitely going to be worth it, and it's going to be really cool.
Yeah,
Other than that, we've started the newsletter, which includes a lot of cool stuff, including an exclusive content video where I'll share, something that can help you movement, whether it's, for your shoulders or for other joints. You can use for warm-up, a cool-down.
Yeah.
Just in general, exercise that improves human movement.
Very cool.
And that's exclusive for people on the program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, very good. Congratulations to you, mate. And I've actually seen some super positive results from people in their actual movement.
Yeah.
When they're doing not only the mobility movements that you've programmed for them, but when they're doing something like a squat or like an overhead press. Abdullah Hashimi, who you've been working with for a long time, I saw him in the weightlifting class the other day. He's like a different human. And I mean, I say a long time. He worked with you pretty intensely for about 6 weeks there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And 2 or 3 times a week, so it's intense, but it's not like he came every single day.
6 weeks is not that long.
Exactly. And he's doing a snatch, and before he really had issues being in this overhead position, and now he just sort of it just looked easier for him, as well as it being quite easy. So so that's very cool, mate. On the back of that, we have a seminar that's going to be in Dubai in December. It's actually on the 9th of December, called the Red Pill Seminar. Now, folks may remember we actually had one of the guys who is leading this seminar, James Jousey, on our show. Mate, what do you know about this seminar, and what do you think people should know about it? Give us a little bit of a wrap up there.
So this seminar is an athlete seminar where James Jousey, who we had on the podcast
292,
go listen to it. It's epic.
It was absolutely awesome.
It's with him and his mentor or partner, whatever you want to call it. Those two have created a seminar. They bring in other athletes that they work with, such as Sarah Sigmund-Satir, Samantha Briggs, and Elliot Simmons.
Right.
So all top athletes that they work with were all top of their game and top of the sport. So those 5 people are going to be there. The seminar is going to be going through quite a lot of things, such as, you get a Q&A with the coaches and the athletes.
Yep.
You can go through some mobility stuff, some programming design. They're going to go through the squad. You're going to do a workout with Sam and Sarah.
Wow.
And there's going to be, some thought process behind, their programming and what goes through, the mind of an elite athlete.
One of the things in the poster, which I didn't ask Elliot about, Elliot's the guy from Yas who's kind of working with these guys to bring this over here, and we're super happy to be working with those guys, is something they have called the Mostability Theory.
Yes.
Do you have any idea what the Mostability Theory is?
No.
Well, there we go. There's a reason why you should jump onto this seminar. But these guys, hop over to podcast 292, listen to our talk with James Jousey. He is so normal, but so smart, so geeky, but everything he said really makes sense. And
these guys are next level.
They're just, absolutely awesome. So just go and check that out. That's the Red Pill Training Seminar.
Yeah.
It's aimed at, they say, athletes. If you're just generally interested, to let you know, it's 2,000 dirhams. It's not cheap. It's one day, 10:30 to 6:30. It's an 8-hour course. There'll be breaks in there, don't worry. You can drink Volvic water, no problem. You can register at InnerFight reception or online at link. Mail us winning@fight.com. We will let you know how you register, and that is something that is coming up on the 9th of December.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, on that day, we also have the Do Tough Mudder. As you may or may not have seen, we are recruiting a Volvic army of people, where we're going to go to the Do Tough Mudder on that morning, on the 9th, and we're going to do the Tough Mudder race together. This is an adventure race, which actually links to a question that we have in this show about Spartan races, which we might as well jump to that now, mate. And where is it? Why do you think there is such an increase in people's interest in Spartan races? I guess this person just means adventure races. Yeah. Have you guys seen the documentary Rise of the Sufferfest? Have you seen it?
No. Have you?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
What do you do on the airplane? You must sleep.
I don't fly. I can't afford it.
You just walk.
Once a year.
Mate, you've been away more than I've been away.
No way.
Nearly. You're going soon. I hope it's still on Emirates. People that have watched Rise of the Sufferfest, it's super cool. What Rise of the Sufferfest does is basically answer this question. Why do you think there's such an increase in people's interest in adventure races? But it goes back to the first, or what they think is the first adventure race, which people will correct me if I'm wrong, but was called Tough Guy.
Okay.
It's raced in the Midlands of England. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong there as well. Probably someone like Brooksy, because he's watched it on Emirates like 20 times because he flies every second day. And basically it's just this old dude, and he just wanted to make an adventure race that was just super, super hard. So he makes it at the end of January. It's freezing cold, and literally people at the end have hypothermia. Super, chances of frostbite. Like, they're not dying. I'm not sure if anyone's died in this race. It probably wouldn't continue. But he just wants to create this crazy race. He's incredibly old school. His marketing is still done by postage.
Easy.
So he writes letters, sends out newsletters by post, spends about £20,000 a year on that.
What?
Where he could spend about half of that on electronic, social media, modern technology, and obviously target a lot more people. What that meant is, because he wasn't really evolving, a guy, I think I'm in the right here saying Joe DeCina, who had a big ranch out in the States, started Spartan Race.
Okay.
He had a ranch, and he just went out and he wanted to give people this experience of adventure racing. Adventure racing being running, doing obstacles, crawling through mud. In some of these races, they give you electric shocks. They put you through very cold water. Yeah.
Electric shocks?
Yeah, there's a netting that you basically get electric volts going through you.
So you pay $200 at least?
Yeah, they're not that cheap.
They're super expensive.
Yeah, they're $100 to $200 to get electrocuted.
That's really cool.
Yeah, super cool. And so, but why Spartan? And then Spartan, what they did, Joe DeCina built this thing up on his ranch. linked with Reebok. Reebok have been very smart in how they promote it. On the back of it, other ones have come around. The Tough Mudder is also one of the older races. That's one that's coming up on the 9th of December. What they do, though, mate, is they put people in challenging situations. So motivation-wise, it's a race. It's something you can work towards. You can start with like a 3K race where there'll be like 3K, and in that 3K there'd be 8 obstacles.
Yep.
Obstacles could be something super simple, like, crawling under a cargo net or jumping through a bucket of ice. If you don't want to do it in some of the Spartan races, you can take a burpee penalty. So if it's a simple sort of a grade 1 obstacle, like that everyone should be able to do, then I think they give you more burpees than if it's a harder obstacle, then you get to do it. So I think it's kind of graded like that. So the point is that you'll go to one race and you'll be like, you can't get up the 10-foot vertical wall. Some of it's teamwork, so we'd help each other up. And basically, that provides you motivation to come back to the gym, to keep training, and to keep on sort of, this thirst that that another one of these adventure races is coming round. I mean, here we have I think about 5 or 6. We have the Desert Warrior Challenge. We have one that I can't remember the name of. We have the Tough Mudder. We have 1 or 2 Spartan races. So there's quite a few. I think Desert Warrior have 2 races a year.
Is it a sport you can proper compete in? Is there money and is there sponsoring?
There are some guys. I actually have a friend who I had on the podcast a while back, and on Instagram he goes under the name of Tough Training, and his job basically, go and check him out.
Tough is just a new buzzword.
Christopher Rutz is his name. He has 30,000 followers on Instagram. So, and you see by his Instagram feed, he's just outdoors doing outside stuff the whole time. I don't know if he's paid by Reebok or not, or if there is a little bit of prize money.
Yeah.
One of the things that Joe DeCino, one of his top races, so he now has different levels of races, and one of them is called the Death Race, the Death March, which actually has no start and end point. So they'll decide when the race is going to finish based on the condition of the athletes. It's pretty crazy, mate. So as far as motivation, and I think this goes back to answering the question, why do you think there's such an increase in people's interest in these adventure races? Watch Rise of the Sufferfest, because it explains it way better than I'll ever explain
on
it.
Netflix? Or you just have to book a ticket with Emirates?
Yeah, just go to London, mate. Actually, Netflix could be a bit cheaper.
Most expensive movie ever.
Yeah, we should check out. I don't know if it's on Netflix. I saw it on Emirates, so that's how I know. And basically, what I believe, why they explain it a lot better than I will, as I was saying, but I think just because they are such a challenge and they're so... The obstacles are so different. In Dubai, it's a lot of running through the desert. Fatima did one the other weekend. She ran 30K. It took her 8 or 9 hours to go through. Yeah.
What?
For real, mate. Fatima from the gym.
Holy Moses.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah, she did something absolutely incredible. And she was just so stoked, mate. And she deserves to be. Of course. It's absolutely incredible what she achieved. So, that's... Yeah, that's
very impressive.
Yeah, that's the adventure races, and on that you can join the Do Tough Mudder team, my army, Volvic Army, and we're going to do that on the 9th of December, which is, going back to our original point, the same day as the Red Pill seminar.
How do people sign up for the Tough Mudder with you?
There is actually a selection day, which is, if I'm not wrong, on exactly the same day that this podcast that we're recording right now is going to be released, which is the 23rd of November.
So show up in the gym.
23rd of November. If you're already listening to the show, you've missed it. Unless this is something, actually, you can get the show one day before it comes out.
Wednesday night,
when Laura, our marketing guru, puts it all together, makes it look nice, and we just talk, and she does all the rest of it. So she's actually way more...
She's a legend.
She's way more talented than we are. We just do the talking. She makes it all look good and puts it out. You can get these shows on a Wednesday afternoon, and you can get that, and then you'd know to come in tomorrow morning, Thursday the 23rd,
yep.
And you're going to do the workout. And how we've picked that, how we're going to pick those people, is across the classes on the day. We have 6 slots. We're going to pick the 6 people who show us that they want it. It's not going to be the people that win the class. It's not going to be anything else. It's going to be effort, and just shows that you really want to do it. So that is happening on exactly the same day as the Red Pill seminar. Make your choice. You could go to Tough Mudder in the morning, Red Pill seminar at 10:30. You have a great day of fitness. So,
talking about tough challenges.
Yes.
In the gym, we are currently running.
Yep.
The Unbroken Challenge. We've already had 2 out of 3 days.
Yep.
And when you're going to listen to this podcast,
we would have had the third probably.
We've had the third.
Yeah, I think there's one next week.
The challenge is 150 wall balls unbroken. You can start at the 3 kilo ball and move on to the 10-pound ball, 14-pound ball, 20-pound ball, and if you're made of something it's very, very special, you might be able to do it with a 30-pound ball.
What I want to encourage people to do here is you have a judge who's your workout partner, who's almost like a colleague, who's been with you the whole time.
Your best friend.
Your best friend. And without calling anyone out, I don't think they've been tough enough.
I don't think so either.
Therefore, what I want to encourage you to do, listening to this podcast on Thursday the 23rd, you're going to get one more chance at the Unbroken Challenge. I want you to take your smartphone, without being an absolute douchebag, getting in everyone's way, and just being annoying, set it up so that you can record your 5 minutes. It won't. If you do it unbroken, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. It's impossible.
No, just come to before the class.
It's impossible. So record it. Have a look at it when you've done your 150 wall balls, and if every single squat is below parallel,
all the way down,
below,
please.
It breaks 90. It's a full squat, and every single one of your 150 balls hits the target. Below to target. Very simple. You don't pause at all.
No.
If you make that criteria, which was put out in the first video that explains the challenge, then please proceed to put your name on the board.
Because this challenge is extremely difficult. Whether you use the 3 kilo ball or the 30-pound, like doing 150 reps in one go is tough. Just imagine doing 150 air squats in one go without having a break.
Yeah.
Like that, just that alone is super difficult.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you don't. I think the biggest thing we've seen over the last 2 attempts is that people pause. So they grab the ball, then they shake their legs, and then they'll go for the next one. Or take like 2-3 second breaks. It's a constant movement. The only place where you relax is when the ball is up in the air.
That's it.
You can shake your legs when the ball is up touching the target.
But there isn't really much time to do anything.
That's the point of being unbroken.
So, that's my challenge to you. And if you then look at your video and you think all of your reps are absolutely correct, then proceed to put your name on the board. I will be the bad guy. I will vet every single name that goes on the board, because the board names will go on the Roll of Honor upstairs, which is an honor to be up there. And it's an incredibly hard thing to do. Nobody's name will go up on that board unless I believe that they've done 150 proper, unbroken wall balls.
Yeah, so we have a Wall of Honor in the gym, which right now has about 8 or 9 posters. And it's from different challenges we've been running in the gym, such as the 1,000 Burpee Challenge, such as the Marathon Row, such as Hell Week, the Open, and those kind of things.
And there's a new one coming for the hike that we did last weekend, the Stairway to Heaven hike.
Okay.
Those people will also get... It was brutal hike. Moonim, our cameraman, will tell you it was a very, very tough hike. It was 10 hours out there hiking and basically out in the heat and out in everything. So those guys will go on the Roll of Honor as well. So it's... I think to have your name up on the Roll of Honor, you have to have done something. Anyway, enough banging on about that.
Exactly.
One thing we want to talk about, music in the gym. Lots of feedback on music. We want a call to action. You guys create your own playlists on Spotify, preferably, because that's what we like to use. It's super easy for us. We can use SoundCloud if you want, whatever. And send us the link. If you have a really... Or even if you... This is something, you don't have to be a musician, you don't have to create your own, but if you have a playlist that you really like to listen to, send us a link to it, mail us winning@innerfight.com, put in the title, Music for the Gym, say you've heard us on the podcast, send us the link, Let's see it. We want to play it for you. If it sucks, we're going to call you out big time. But don't let that put you off. Because some of the music I play is not that good.
Man, we're running out of creativity.
We're running out of creativity. You know what I'm actually... It sounds like a whinge-a-thon here, but what I get bored of is people telling me that the music's shit.
Turn it off?
No worries. I'll turn it off. And you go, like, I love to work out in silence. I ride my bike in silence. I don't have a problem. But guys, if you do, or if you are from another gym around the world, you're listening to the show, we massively appreciate your support. If you have some cool playlists, we're always looking for stuff. We're always looking for new ideas. We haven't got it all wrapped up. Please send us your playlist. We'd really appreciate that. Mate, another date that I want to put in people's diaries for December is for our annual Christmas party, which is Celebrate Fitness. It's going to be on Friday the 8th of December. It'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it'll finish with a load of shawarmas and a load of nice food, all wrapped up by 1 o'clock. And your team won't win.
I won't be there, unfortunately. But last year, it was awesome. You definitely need to turn up. Bring your friends, bring your family.
Bring your Santa Claus outfit.
Yeah.
If you've got one. If not, just go buy one and bring
You
that.
have to have one on.
Let's crack on to another few of these listener questions. I want to hit you. This one is for you, mate. I've been talking a lot. This question says, Andre, I've seen you're now using Fuel Up. How's it going for you?
So
talk us through what Fuel Up is, why you're using it. Give us the whole 9 yards, mate.
Yeah, so about 3.5 months ago, I started working with a nutritionist because I wanted to, the whole thing happened that I got an elbow injury, which I still have, unfortunately. And I made a list of things I wanted to improve, that I could control. And one of the things were my food. I could make my food better. So since I couldn't use my arm, I wanted to improve every single other area of my fitness. And one of them was my nutrition. So I seeked out a nutritionist. She helped me build up, a diet. And Fuel Up was an easy choice because on Fuel Up you can build your own meals, and I needed some specific details such as I need something that's easy digestible, like I'll have fish and I'll have this and that and all these kind of things. So it was easiest to use Fuel Up because you can build your own meals and they have a very big variety of food, and it's also owned by a Danish guy, so I trust him.
Does that mean it tastes better?
I trust him.
So how does your food work then, mate? What do you put together? How do you put it together? Why do you put it together? How you put it together? What's that all about? Because I think one of the things that I understand from you is that flexibility. To create. So what do you create and why do you create it?
My meals are set by my nutritionist, and they're based on my goals, which were, number one goal is to not throw up that often. I've had a problem ever since I started CrossFit that I would throw up a lot after hard efforts. And it wouldn't just be that one time. It would be weekly, at least once. I would throw up and be sick for 3-4 hours if I pushed myself really hard.
Right.
Ever since I started this diet, that hasn't happened once. And I've done some crazy stuff.
So what's the...
So the whole thing is that I'm dairy-free now.
Right.
100%.
Right.
I am 80% gluten-free, which means that I can eat some gluten stuff, but I barely touch it. I'll have gluten-free oats for breakfast together with... We can walk through a day of my diet.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
I mean, we touched on it in a previous show, but I think someone's asked specifically, so here we go.
So breakfast, I would have, 1.5 cups of gluten-free oats together with 1 tablespoon of chia seeds.
Right.
Together with, a half cup of blueberries and sugar-free almond milk.
Right.
That's my breakfast. It's quite a big portion of oats, gluten-free oats. It's a huge bowl.
Right.
So I have that for breakfast. Then I usually have a vegan shake, which is vegan protein powder together with sugar-free almond milk, together with a banana, together with a couple of frozen berries.
Right.
And vegan protein powder.
Which vegan protein powder you use?
I actually can't remember the brand.
Can't believe you're not using Nuzest.
Yeah, it's not Nuzest, it's something else. I just used whatever she recommended.
Oh, God.
But I probably should be using Nuzest.
She really doesn't know anything. Terrible advert, this guy.
So I have that. And next meal would be a meal from Fuel Up that I built based on the diet, which is 200 grams of white fish together with 150 grams of carbs and 150 grams of greens. The greens is asparagus and the carbs is sweet potatoes.
Okay.
simple meal, makes me feel good, super easy, digestible.
Yeah.
Easy to hit my training, 1.5 hour later.
Yeah.
Still not, feel digested, and I don't feel heavy. I feel energized, and
Awesome.
it's perfect. It makes me feel good. Right after my first session,
Yeah.
I'll have my second meal, or that will be almost like my third meal if we don't count the shake.
Right.
Which is 200 grams of salmon together with 150 grams of rice and 150 grams of green beans.
Okay.
So a bit heavier meal, at least
Yep.
it feels like it. A bit more carbs, which makes it just, more energy for my next session.
Very cool.
And then I'll have a fourth meal, which either will be one of the Smith Street Paleo meals.
Yeah, for the win.
Or it will be something I cook at home.
Yep.
That is only vegetables and beans.
Okay.
So something light.
So basically, mate, all of your food seems just a lot softer, a lot easier to digest, and very, very simple. No sauce, no just straight up food that just goes in and gets the job done.
I actually also have at least a half chocolate bar a night.
Oh,
I
for
think
real. Think that's important?
It's very important.
What's your favorite chocolate bar that you use?
Salty.
Salty Lindt.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, you eat half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
At least.
At least.
Let's just say half. I think it sounds better.
Probably
People will
more.
misunderstand if I say full. Yeah, so that's pretty much my diet, and it's been working super well ever since.
Cool.
And I actually eat pretty much the same thing with every day, except the dinner changes. We just got a slow cooker, so
we're
changing things up a bit. If you
slow
don't
cooker.
have one of these, you need to get your hands on it.
Actually, when I used to eat a lot of meat, and Holly used to fly a lot, I used to slow cook my face off. I'd just put in 3 or 4 kilos of lamb on a Saturday, just eat it for the week, and then the next week just do the same with pork. And
super simple.
It's very. The favorite was probably pork shoulder. Very, very nice, or lamb shoulder as well.
I'll have to try that.
Super nice. Yeah, 6 or 8 hours, and she taught me once, and I learnt well, and that was it. And then I'd just cook up a load of sweet potato, and it'd be good. So
I think the biggest takeaway, when people listen to what I eat, is not to just go and do the same. It's about, seeing somebody who knows their stuff and get a diet that, fits your needs.
Yeah.
I needed this amount of food to match my goals of increased performance, increased muscle mass, and decreased puking, basically. And that was literally the goals, and it's been working since. So I thought I knew a lot about nutrition before, and I thought I was eating on point. But you never really do until you actually try something else.
Very good. There we go.
Yeah.
That pretty much answers that question. Oof. Another interesting question that I want to hit. We got a few minutes left.
That one's for you.
Which
first one?
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an endurance program that I follow 3 to 4 sessions per week, but I also want to do CrossFit. How many sessions should I do of CrossFit? I have no idea. I literally don't know. And listen, right now, and I'm coaching a lot of different people. I'm coaching one person to an ultra marathon, one person to an ultra cycling. I've got about 4, 5 marathon runners that I'm coaching at the moment to different marathons. Some of them are in Dubai. I have someone I'm coaching to a 10K race. A big difference. Most of these people came out of CrossFit classes. They're clients from the gym. In all of the first meetings, they sit down and they say, okay, I want to run a marathon, or I want to run 10K. Cool. How does it look like? And I say, you need to run 3 to 4 times a week. I'll split the session, as we've spoken about before.
Yeah.
We'll do aerobic building. We'll do threshold stuff. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, great. So I'm going to do 4 of those sessions. Yes. Okay, how many CrossFit sessions can I do? Can I do 4? I don't know. I literally...
Why don't you tell us about how you did from last year to this year? Because you made a massive change in your training.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, mate, so if I look at, I'm preparing for ultra cycling races in 2018.
Yep.
Now, what I found when I was preparing to ride in the Alps last year, in this summer, last year, is that I was still doing a lot of CrossFit.
Because you were qualifying for the regionals as a master.
That was this year. Last year I was continuing to do CrossFit all through summer and mix it with the cycling. I found that I believe that both suffered equally, in that I wasn't specific enough in either. I'd maybe go out and do 3 hours cycling, then come in and try and do a weightlifting session and just be absolutely tired and smashed. This year, when the Masters started, so basically from January, when I really started to focus my training for the Masters, I did not ride my bike until May. So I put my bike away, which is quite a difficult thing to do because I love my bike, and I put it away for about 4.5 months. I didn't ride it once. I performed the best that I could in CrossFit. When I got back on the bike, I was terrible on the bike. I then said, I'm going to dedicate, I've got 2 big bike trips coming up this summer. I'm going to dedicate my training time to this. And I said, initially, I'm going to drop down to 3 CrossFit sessions a week and do 3 bike sessions a week. And that worked super well, along with about 4 mobility flow sessions every morning or 4 days a week. That worked super well. Then when I decided that I was going to race next year in ultra cycling, I realized that CrossFit would not help me if I wanted to do those races to the very, very best of my ability. I would have to be spending, like, for example, tonight I have a 5-hour ride. So that starts at 7 p.m. So, you know, and on the weekend, I did a 5-hour ride Thursday night, slept 3 hours, and then I did a 6-hour ride or 5-hour ride Friday morning.
Okay. So
my body's ability to recover, it's mainly about recovery, mate. I can do it. I can go and do a CrossFit session now. We could do Murphy if you want. It'd take me probably 2 hours. I wouldn't be very proud of it. It wouldn't do any good to my body. So the point is, mate, is that I have learned how to balance my training. I'll now, directly after this show, I'll do about 40 minutes of flow training, a lot of core stuff, a lot of hip opening stuff, even some upper body, you know, thoracic stuff just to stay nice and open. And that makes me feel a lot better on my bike. So I would love to be doing 4 CrossFit sessions a week because I love working out in the CrossFit style. It's great. It does so many good things to me. But right now, my goal is on this ultra racing.
Yeah.
So
any training needs to match accordingly.
It has to match accordingly, mate. So, you know, this person says, I have an endurance program that I follow for 3 to 4 sessions per week, but I also want to do CrossFit. How many should I do? Like, I say, what is the goal and how badly do you want to achieve it?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that the mindset that our members have, 80% of them this Friday could run a marathon with me. Yeah. Some of them it would take 3.5 hours, others it would take 7. But every 80% of our members would finish it. I'm
sure.
Put my house on it. Absolute guarantee, because the people that we have, they have a mindset that I love, and that's why they're still here. A 7-hour marathon is a 7-hour marathon. If that's your goal, then that's your goal. You could probably do 5 CrossFit sessions a week and your 4 running sessions, and you'd get a 7-hour marathon. Yep. But if you want to be really good, and I want people to be really good, if you want to be really good, you need to set an aggressive target and you need to train accordingly. You need to figure out what complements what you're doing. And the only way you figure that out is really, mate, by trial and error. Yep. I'm never going to say to someone, because I know that 5 CrossFit sessions on top of 3 or 4 runs is not the right way. So what I say to people in this situation, you've got 3 to 4 endurance sessions, try starting with 2 to 3 CrossFit sessions. See how it goes. Because the CrossFit is always constantly varied, we were talking earlier about 150 wall balls, unbroken. You do those properly with the right weight and the right movement standard, and then tomorrow you're supposed to do a run interval session or a bike interval session. I'm afraid you're not doing that bike or run interval session at 100% at what we want it at. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I had this great conversation, and I have it all the time with people. How much do you want your endurance goal, or how much do you want your CrossFit goal? And you have to split your goals really into sort of what the big wins of the year are, what really are your legacy events, and what stuff you're just doing for fun, or what stuff complements it.
Yeah.
You know, my yoga and flow training at the moment really complement my cycling. I feel so much better.
That's part of your legacy.
Yeah, so that's all. Like, next year I'm trying to set a record to race 4 races in a year, 4 ultra cycling races within a year, which I don't think anyone's done before. So it's like, you know, that's what I'm really focused on. And yeah, I'm skinny. I've lost weight. Like, yeah, I don't have biceps like I had before, and I weigh still more than you.
They weren't that big before, okay?
No, but they're still bigger than you. You know, but that's one of the things. And you look back at pictures and I'm like, wow, I was quite big when I was doing CrossFit and now I'm quite thin. But I'm like, yeah, but that's for a reason. And that's the sacrifice. Exactly. That's the sacrifice that you're making for the goal. So I think it is almost that OCD mindset that we just want to see. We want someone to turn around and want to say, Andre, you're going to do 4 endurance sessions. They're on this day, this day, this day. You're then going to do 3 CrossFit sessions. They're on this day, this day, this day. But honestly, the way that it works and the way that the body works, you just can't put it in like that.
No.
I think that's one of the greatest things about understanding your body and training at a high level is that you'll know, mate, and you've done it. You started a session and you're like, wow, I'm not recovered for this. Because yesterday was super hard. You really went all in. You might have worked a bit hard. There could have been some stress at home. Sleep wasn't great, whatever. And you're expected to come the next day and 110% just doesn't work. So what do? You just cut the session.
Exactly.
You know
when it's time to cut it.
Yeah.
And when it's time to keep going. And
exactly.
It's okay that you have those days where you're just not 100%.
It's fine. So long as you're honest and you know. And that's what I say to all of the endurance clients or anyone who I have on an endurance program. I'll find you out pretty quick. You be honest. If we're honest, I think I'm wearing an honesty cap today. If you're honest with me, it's sweet. If you're lying, I'll find it out real quick. Because I know in that last interval, if it's 800 meters with a 2 minutes rest, I can see from your heart rate and from your pace if you're genuinely bust, if you've hit the wall, or if you've just been a pussy in the last one. Like, it's simple. It's clear as day. And I go through it, and that's why when I'm taking on an endurance client, I'll sit down for about half an hour. I'll explain everything. I'll show them what that session looks like, and I'll show them where I can catch them out. So there's no, it's like, but it's the same, mate. You have a coach, and you have to feed back to them.
There's no cutting corners.
There's no cutting corners. And the coolest thing about endurance is these crazy geeky watches that all the data is just there. CrossFit, you can kind of, I can't wear my watch when I'm doing pull-ups or burpees, and I can't wear the heart rate belt, so you can kind of get out of it. And I don't really know how hard you're working if I measure your work rate on heart rate.
And time-wise as well.
Yeah.
That workout took about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
In reality, 4 minutes.
Exactly, mate. So that's really the answer. I don't know. And it's the same when people come in the gym. How many times a week should I come to the gym? Listen. You haven't done anything for 15 years. Just come to a day. If you feel good, come tomorrow. At the end of the week, we'll be able to figure out what's happening with your body, and then just buy a package of 3 a week. Or if you feel really good, take unlimited. Yeah. And that's people are a little bit surprised by that reaction, but that's the thing. And I don't want people to pay for unlimited when they're only able to work out one day and need 3 days off because they've been sat on the couch for 15 years. So we don't really know. We know definitely what you shouldn't be doing, but the thing about, and I was speaking about this with Dr. James on the radio the other day, the thing about having a coach is that coach's ability to spot what's going on in your body related to your heart rate, related to your performance, and say, Andre, tomorrow you're having a rest day. And you're like, no, I shouldn't. No, mate. Tomorrow you need a rest day. So these are the small things. So I think, mate, that's a really good point to wrap it up. We're almost about 50 minutes. This damn listener Q&A really does go on.
Yeah, it goes fast.
No, it's super good, guys, and we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your feedback, as we said. So if these are interesting topics that we're talking about, keep flicking these questions over to us. We really want to hear from you, and we want to try and help you. So if you're struggling with these things as well, just let us know, and we'll bash them out.
Yeah, and if there's any people you would like to see on the podcast that we interview, please give us a shout out, and we'll try to get them on to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some quite good stuff coming up. So we actually have an interview coming up with. And this is something we said we were going to do ages ago, give you an insight into what's going on. But we have Shadia coming up, who's just signed a contract, who will soon be moving to the United States to be in the wrestling as a professional wrestler in the Wrestling Federation. So that's going to be super awesome for her.
First woman from the Middle East.
First woman.
Huge.
It's huge. And actually, you and Jonesy are going to interview her. She'll be coming out in podcast 374. And speaking of Matt Jones, he is going to come back on the show by popular demand. One of the bits of feedback that I get, guys, where's the coaches show? It's always so much fun having. They obviously don't like our voice, mate.
They're tired of it.
They're tired.
2 shows a week. They're getting enough.
Jones is going to come back on in episode 376. That's on the 7th of December. And then after that, we're going to hit another listener Q&A. So send us in the questions. A couple of questions that we've missed from today. We're going to get to them in that show. But please do stay tuned as well. Podcast 373 is all about trusting the process. Fitness is under 3 minutes. Podcast 375 is fitness in under 3 minutes. How to work out in a hotel room. And I'm super excited. You and Jonesy are going to interview Shadia. Yep. I'm super excited to listen to that. She is an amazing person. I remember the first day she walked in the gym. I'll save that story for another time, but she's done amazing, and we give her our full support. Yeah. There we go, mate. That was the show. That was listener Q&A.
Thanks for the questions.
Thanks for the questions. Thanks for your insights. Cheers for now.